This is the ACC on ESPN. And tonight, from Pittsburgh in the Peterson Event Center, it's the Pitt Panthers and Savannah State Tigers. Pittsburgh's first game as members of the ACC. Hi again, everyone, and thanks for watching college basketball with us tonight, along with former Pitt Panther Marcus Bowman. I'm Tim Neverett. Marcus, they're excited about joining the ACC around these parts.
Yeah, and it's an exciting time. Can you imagine this building when the teams like Duke and North Carolina, the excitement is going to be electric.
And it all starts tonight with the season opener here at the Pete. Let's take a look at tonight's one-on-one. For the visiting Savannah State Tigers, their lone returning starter is Devin Williams.
Yeah, the senior from Indianapolis, Indiana. He had a really great finish to last year. Averaged over 20 points his last 4 games. It'll be a tough defensive battle for these guards for the Panthers team.
And you talk about youth for the Pittsburgh Panthers. A true freshman makes a start for the second straight year. This is Michael Young, his first college game.
Yeah, the freshman returns home to Pittsburgh after playing a couple years of high school basketball in New Jersey. He really will provide rebounding and defense in the paint.
And bringing his Savannah State Tigers into the Peterson Event Center tonight, former Georgetown star Horace Brodnax. He was the point guard on the 1984 National Championship Hoya team. Played alongside Patrick Ewing, but he has done a good job as a coach. And Jamie Dixon, his 11th season at Pittsburgh, his record speaks for itself. 262 wins, 86 losses. For the Tigers of Savannah State, Montgomery, Smith, Williams, Hall, and Hill are the starting 5. And for Pittsburgh, Michael Young, Lamar Patterson, Derek Randall, Cameron Wright, James Robinson starting. Talib Zanna, who normally would have started at center tonight, suspended for a game for violation of team rules. He will not be here tonight. Also, Aaron Nwankwo, who was a redshirt last year, is not here due to personal issues, so they will not have his services off the bench. Les Jones is the lead referee here tonight. Tony Dawkins and Anthony Franklin are the other 2 officials. As we get set to tip this one off, Pitt in white and Savannah State in gray with the orange and blue numerals. And Marcus, this is a big test for Savannah State out of the MEAC. In fact, the Pitt Panthers have never lost a game to a MEAC opponent in program history.
Yeah, this will be a tough test for the Savannah State team. You know, these games are really about, you know, the bigger teams, the Pitt Panthers, and what they're doing to get ready.
Well, they'll jump it again as Giles Smith, number 44 for Savannah State, will jump with Derek Randall. Randall making his first start for the Panthers, allowed to transfer from Rutgers last year. He is from Brooklyn, New York. And he wins the opening tip, and Pitt has the first possession of the season. Pitt last year 24-9. They went 12-6 in their final season in Big East play. Open is Robinson to guard. He's fouled on the way to the hoop. And that's the first team foul for Savannah State. And the foul will put Robinson at the line.
This Savannah State team is going to play a lot of man-to-man defense. They're a very scrappy defensive team. They'll try to get out and pressure the Panthers and make them turn the ball over. It'll be key for guys like James Robinson, Cameron Wright to make sure that they take care of the basketball.
Robinson is a sophomore from Mitchellville, Maryland. Went to Baltimore's DeMatha Catholic. In fact, he's the winningest player there. 120 wins in 4 high school seasons for DeMatha. And last year, a true freshman who started the opener, along with Steven Adams, who's now in the NBA, and Michael Young, wearing the headband for Pitt. Just one of 14 freshmen in program history to start the opening game as a true freshman. Savannah State trying to get on the scoreboard. Missed shot by Smith, and the rebound taken back by the Tigers. Here's Terrell Hall. He's a junior from Dawson, Georgia. Robinson with the block, but called for a foul. That's Pitt's first foul.
Good job right there by James Robinson coming out and switching on that ball screen, getting in the passing lanes. Very active hands there. Looked like they may have got him there on a grab as he was trying to go for the basketball there.
Well, we're going to see some slight differences, especially early in the season, in terms of officiating, as Cam Wright deflects the ball out of bounds. One of them is an emphasis on the hand check, which typically you'll probably see more during the initial phases of the season. But when the hand check foul is called a lot, and we've seen it already in the first 2 exhibition games for Pittsburgh and also for Armstrong Atlantic, who played Savannah State. What does that do for you defensively? Does that get in your head at all?
It can, but, you know, good defenders are really made by moving their feet on defense, and that's what you really have to do. As Cam Wright comes up with the big steal there, and the Panthers turn the ball over. But as I was saying, really, the best defenders move their feet. But that'll be interesting to see how this Panthers team adjusts to those ticky-tacky fouls. They have to make sure that they move their feet.
Kevin Williams launches a 3, and skying for the rebound is Derek Randall. Cam Wright, predominantly a bench player last year, gave Jamie Dixon some quality minutes off the bench, and Randall underneath for 2, and it's 4-0 Pittsburgh.
Yeah, that's a welcome sign right there to get from Derek Randall, the transfer from Rutgers, scoring on his first basket. Nice pass right there by Lamar Patterson. He's really a guy that looks to find his teammates and creates for others.
In the middle, Hall. Terrell Hall's got the first basket for Savannah State.
Good answer by Savannah State, and that allows them to set up their full court pressure defense. As we mentioned, it'll be very key for the Panthers to take care of the ball on offense.
Lamar Patterson, 50-year senior, looking for a screen. Line pass out to Young. And Young misses his first collegiate shot. Randall the rebound and the putback.
Another nice job right there by Derek Randall. It's going to be very important for him to also provide some rebounding in this game, as Talib Zana, the Panthers' best rebounder, is out.
Zana, as we mentioned when we gave you the starting lineup, suspended for a violation of team rules. He will miss tonight's game only, and he will be back on the 12th when the Panthers take on Fresno State here in the second game of the season. 4-point lead. First substitution coming for Horace Brodnack's team. Kiera Richards coming in, a guard out of Atlanta. Also coming in will be Hakeem Champagne, a 6'9" junior forward from Charleston, South Carolina. Well, he's going to have to wait. He was a little anxious. He did not have his game jersey on. So instead, Patrick Henley will come in. He'll replace Jeremiah Hill.
He was a little excited to get into this game there, Tim.
Sadiq Muhammad, a late sub. Well, he'll take Montgomery out. Montgomery headed to the bench for Savannah State. So wholesale changes for Horace Brodnax. It's just 2.5 minutes gone by. 4-point lead for Pittsburgh in the early going. Derek Randall, making his first start as a Panther, has 4 of the 6 points. Some pressure full court being applied as Robinson looks to dribble through it, guarded by Richards. Patterson trying to set up shot. Lobs it inside for Cam Wright for 2.
You know, that was a nice job right there by Cameron Wright. His defender fell asleep on the play, went back door, and as I mentioned, Lamar Patterson is always the guy who has his eyes up and open and looks to create for his teammates.
Young battling for the rebound, comes away with it. Now Robinson leads the break. Lamar Patterson somehow got the pass to Wright, who lays it in. He's got 4. And Pitt, the first to double figures, an 8-point lead, and a timeout for Savannah State. It'll be a 30-second timeout.
A nice job right there, Lamar Patterson. Stumbling a little bit, but still able to find Cameron Wright, who finishes in the paint.
A 6-0 run early for Pittsburgh after Savannah State got on the board. But Cam Wright, we'll see a little bit more of Cam Wright coming up at halftime, something that got him some notoriety nationally this week. But check out the rebounding by Michael Young.
Yeah, that's what you like to see from your big man, especially a freshman down there battling, getting on the defensive boards there. That's something that Coach Jamie Dixon really preaches, is defense and rebounding. So if you're going to play on his basketball team, you definitely are going to have to rebound the ball.
Jamie Dixon, what a terrific job he has done here at Pittsburgh. In fact, the Panthers, in opening games over the last 23 of them, have won 22 of them. They're 10-0 under Dixon.
That is an impressive stat. I don't think people really understand how difficult that is to win your opening game of the season every year under the same basketball coach.
Savannah State 1 for 4 from the field in the early going. Kiera Richards at the point, off to Kenley. And an offensive foul is called on Savannah State. They'll give the ball back to Pitt.
I think we had a moving screen there on Muhammad. He's got to do a better job of getting set, but sometimes that's not always the big man's fault. Sometimes the guard has to wait for that big man to get set before they take off. I think that was the problem on that last play.
3 turnovers already for Savannah State. Savannah State last year went 19-15. They have 7 new players this season, including 3 JUCO transfers. When you look at their record, Marcus, with 19 wins, 8 losses, 8 of the 15 losses were by 3 points or fewer.
Yeah, it shows that they're playing good basketball, you know, and I think that's something that they'll try to carry over into this year, maybe learn from those losses last year and take the good from it and try to learn from those experiences.
Young trying to set a screen for Patterson. Delonte Fenner guarding Patterson. Fenner, a freshman. Rebound out to Muhammad. Darryl Richards with the basketball. Missed last season. He had some knee surgery this offseason. The red shirt last year. And Richards throws it up. And a foul is called on the floor before the shot. Foul is going to be called on Jamel Artis. Artis is a freshman from Baltimore. From Notre Dame Prep in Massachusetts.
I've seen a little bit of a youth movement here from the Panthers team. Obviously, already seeing 2 freshmen get in the game early. We'll see another freshman in Josh Newkirk. Nice trap right there by camera rider Jamel Artis on the baseline.
And a traveling violation. That's the 4th turnover by Savannah State. So having a problem taking care of the basketball are the Tigers. There's a timeout. Cam Wright with 2 of his 4 points and Pitt up by 8. Pittsburgh 10, Savannah State 2, 15:47 to go in the first half in Pittsburgh. And Pitt joining the new league, the ACC. And when you join a team, or league rather, that has teams, Marcus, like Duke, North Carolina, and the like, and the Panthers are picked 6th in their first year, in spite of the fact they lost 7-foot center Steven Adams to the NBA. That's saying something about the program.
Absolutely. That's a testament to this program and what Coach Jamie Dixon has been able to build to make sure that his team always stays in the upper half of whatever league they're in. And usually when you finish in the upper half, you're going to give yourself a really good opportunity of making the NCAA tournament. And obviously the ACC is very deep in basketball, has some great, very good teams at the top. And this Pitt team will be right there in the mix come March.
Well, Panthers will inbound the ball on the near side. There's Patterson. Flips it over to Robinson, floor general. He started every game last season. Pittsburgh had heard about him early on. They began recruiting Robinson when he was in the 9th grade.
Yeah, and he's been an early impact player for this Pitt team already, as you've mentioned. And you know, that's really saying something when you're the winningest point guard on a crew like the Panthers. And there's DeRon Johnson stepping up and making a 3. He's a guy that really is going to be able to provide a scoring punch off the bench, can really shoot it from the outside. He reminds me of the microwave. He comes in and he's never seen a shot he didn't like.
He's another Baltimore guy in this Pittsburgh roster, a sophomore, 6'6". Went to high school in New Hampshire in the Lakes region at Brewster Academy. Now Randall's going to get called for a foul out on top as Richards trying to dribble around him.
You know, and that's one of the things that we talked about, one of those ticky-tacky, early kind of hand check fouls. One thing about this Pitt Panthers team is the big guys, they hedge out hard on those ball screens, so they have to make sure that they get their hands up and keep them from being low so the referees can't call that foul.
So Randall has a seat. Josh Newkirk has entered the game for Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh going with a smaller lineup here. Darrell Richards driving using the left hand. Young had the inside position, but the rebound by Giles Smith. Montgomery back with it for Savannah State. Another foul is called. Foul's going to be on Ron Johnson. It's his first. And the fourth team foul on Pitt. 2 team fouls so far for Savannah State.
And here you see Deron Johnson just getting a little anxious there on the defensive end. Got to do a better job there. And here we go again with another ticky-tack foul. You know, that's another thing about this. That's a tendency to potentially extend the games a little bit longer than in the past when they're calling this many fouls.
Second foul on Jamel Artis. So Cam Wright checks back in for Pitt. Could be a factor too, the number of fouls that are going to be called more than likely early in the season until the players adjust to some of the new rules emphasis. You're going to have a deep bench.
Absolutely, it's going to be very important for your bench players to provide some fun.
Nice play by Cam Wright. He's got 6. And it is 15-2. Way off the mark on the shot. Rebound, Patterson. Gets it ahead to Newkirk. Newkirk, he's a freshman from Raleigh, North Carolina. Wearing 13 for Pitt. They're excited about him because he's Pitt's first recruit from ACC territory, right in the heart of it.
Yeah, and that's saying a lot when you can go down in North Carolina and get one of the best players out of that state and take them away from some of them great programs. Nice job right there by Lamar Patterson getting all the way to the cup, I was going to say.
And the rebound by Young. Pitt on a 13-0 run. Newkirk to Wright. Flip to Patterson. Patterson, left hand lane. 19-2, a 17-point lead, a 15-0 run for the Panthers. Horace Broadnax has to slow it down. He calls a timeout as Patterson goes to the rack again.
Nice up and under move by Lamar Patterson, a very crafty guy in his senior year for this Panthers team. They'll be counting on a lot to stuff the stat sheets. They'll need to provide points, assists, rebounds, and they'll have to do it on the defensive end also. This is a good timeout by Savannah State. This game is starting to get out of control a little bit.
Horace in his 9th season with Savannah State, again out of Georgetown. Jamie Dixon out of TCU. Jamie's in the TCU Athletic Hall of Fame. He graduated there in 1987. Ended up playing professionally a little bit in the CBA and then also overseas in New Zealand. In fact, Jamie hit a half-court shot against Texas. and you can look it up on YouTube, I think. It's a game winner against the Longhorns, 1986.
I've happened to see that shot before. I think it was in like the Big South or the Big Southwest
Conference, yeah.
Okay.
A little before your time, Southwest Conference.
Slightly.
13:27 remaining first half. Getting set to inbound is Terrell Hall, junior out of Dawson, Georgia. So the 15 members of the Savannah State team, 10 of them are from the state of Georgia. Foul called underneath, and it's going to be on the offense. Montgomery picks up the offensive foul.
Nice job right there by Mike Young, stepping and getting outside of the paint, getting his feet set, taking the contact, and drawing the charge. And
one of the toughest calls an official has to make, maybe the toughest call, is the block charge. But last year, taking steps, putting the restricted area arc in, and putting rules emphasis on that. This year, more of an emphasis on the airborne shooter. You have to have your feet set, as Young did. Even though he's outside the restricted area arc, it's still called a charge this year. Another foul was whistled away from the ball. And that'll be on Terrell Hall, his second. 16 fouls for Savannah State now. I beg your pardon, 14 fouls for Savannah State, 6 for Pitt. Josh Newkirk. Newkirk also in the backcourt is Chris Jones. Redshirted last year, in his first time tonight. Now Johnson rises from long distance. Rebound loose, taken back by the Tigers, and Devin Williams. Three-point try, that's in and out. Rebound taken down by Johnson. Inside, Young had it slapped away by Hall. Wright trying to save it, lost the handle, and the ball will go back to Savannah State.
Seeing a nice little back and forth here on the end. A little sloppy play by both teams. Want to see them settle down a little bit. You saw Savannah State go into a zone that last defensive possession. I think the coach is getting a little worried about his team getting in too much foul trouble and getting out and getting some of those ticky-tack fouls.
Williams finds his man Giles Smith, who puts down the high percentage shot. 19-4. Giles Smith needs 127 points for 500 in his career. And that's one thing that Horace Broadnax told me earlier today. He wants Smith to be able to be more of an offensive contributor to his team. He's done a pretty good job on the defense. But the offense is where he needs to step up his game. 19-4 Pitt. Timeout at the Peterson Event Center. Welcome back to the Peterson Event Center in Pittsburgh with Marcus Bowman, Tim Neverett. 19-4, Pitt out to a big early lead. And it's been pretty balanced so far. Cam Wright with 6 points leading the way.
Yeah, and here you see Derek Randall stepping in early and getting a couple buckets early as well. And here's Cameron Wright, as you talked about. And the one thing that you'll notice on each one of these plays is that everything is coming in the painted area. And the Panthers are doing a good job of taking high percentage shots. And that's something that's a staple in James Dixon's offense. He likes to see those high percentage shots and see his team shoot at a high clip, over 50%.
There is Derek Randall making the start for Talib Zana tonight. Randall, his first game, he's transferring from Rutgers. A handful of players were allowed to be eligible immediately after transferring from Rutgers last year. Due to the situation involving former coach Mike Rice. Over and back on Robinson, so Savannah State will have the basketball. And with the basketball, Kiera Richards. And Richards still trying to get back into shape. He missed the first month of conditioning due to knee surgery in late August. Had a very complicated injury to describe. It was the same surgery that NBA star Kevin Durant had, so it made some news. And it's been very successful for him so far. Here's Williams. And the rebound taken down by Johnson. He is fouled on the way. Ron Johnson hit the deck. And the foul will be called on Kira Richards, his first. That's the 6th team foul on Savannah State.
It'll be important for these guards to make sure that they're mixing it up down low and getting rebounds. You know, that's something that's really preached by Jamie Dixon. You know, he's always going to talk about defense and rebounding, and his best rebounding teams have been when his guards rebound the ball well.
Three-point try, and that is a little bit too far. Taken by Jones. Pitt is 0 for their last 4 possessions. They did score in 8 of their first 10.
Yeah, going on a little bit of a scoring drought right here. After being on such a hot streak, see if they can settle down and get a play going. Got to start on the defensive end.
Evan Williams was on the baseline, and basket interference called on Sadiq Mohammed. The ball was on the cylinder. You can't knock it in your own basket when it's on the cylinder, so that's a turnover. Patterson looking to inbound the ball. Full court pressure set up by Savannah State. Coming into the game is Javaris Jenkins, another freshman. He's out of Deerfield Beach, Florida. Cam Wright. Patterson dishes back to Robinson. Wide open look at a three. Got it.
Nice job right there once again by Lamar Patterson, really setting up that play, getting James Robinson a wide open three-point shot. You know, he's the guy that's really worked on his outside shot over the offseason, and we'll see if it pays off this year for the Pitt Panthers.
Devin Williams trying to find some room. Richards with a wide open look. He's got a three.
Nice answer right there by Richards, getting a wide open three on his own and stepping up and knocking down the shot with confidence.
First three-point basket for Savannah State. 22-7 Pittsburgh. Halfway mark of the first half. 10 minutes to go. Wright picked up defensively by Hill. Now Patterson's baseline jumper no good. Randall another rebound. The lefty puts it in, and Randall being left-handed gives him such an advantage on that side of the basket.
Yeah, it does. You know, left-handed guys are always tough to defend, especially when they're active like Derek Randall is. He's doing a nice job early in this game with 6 big points.
In and out, Randall with a rebound. Ron Johnson stepping toward the hole. His left-handed lay-in no good, but it's tipped in by Patterson. Lamar Patterson, who will have 1,000 points in his career within reach this season. That's about 365 or so.
He's just been a consistent guy. Every year has gotten better. And obviously now one of the better players on this Panthers team.
Deron Johnson whistled for the foul, his second. 19-point advantage for Pittsburgh. Johnson goes over to talk to Brandon Knight. Now from Savannah, Georgia. Sadiq Mohammed, hometown kid. Helped Johnson High School to the Georgia State title last year. This is the Tigers' first free throw, and it's good. Coming back in for Pitt is Michael Young. Johnson will have a seat. Stephen Wilson and Delonte Fenner both in for Savannah State. And Savannah State did a good piece of scheduling. Their next game is tomorrow in Pittsburgh against Robert Morris.
I would call that efficient scheduling. You know, I wonder how many teams do that, you know, when they come here and play the Panthers, maybe play Duquesne University next or something along those lines.
Patterson, strong offensive rebound off the miss by Randall. Now right for three. And Pitt has gone cold. Savannah State looking to heat up. Mohammed had the rebound. Here's Kira Richards. Wilson. Fenner. Another foul is whistled, this time on Cam Wright. Monte Fenner drew the contact.
Here you see another one of those ticky-tacky fouls. I'm not quite too sure about that one there, Tim. You know, not too sure about how I feel about some of these new rules and these ticky-tacky fouls. You know, I was a guy that was raised in the Big East Conference back in the day where no blood, no foul.
That was during conference play.
Yeah.
Might have been a little different during non-conference action, right?
Yeah, I would agree with that. A little bit different early on in the year.
So Fenner from the line. Savannah State in the bonus now. Pitt with 18 fouls. And he will earn the bonus and get a second free throw. Jamie Dixon, one of the winningest coaches in the nation. 4-time National Coach of the Year. Fenner in and out. Rebound Young. And a traveling violation whistled against Josh Newkirk. A turnover for Pittsburgh.
Yeah, a little mistake right there by the freshman. Just a little too excited. Got to get his feet set before he takes off like that. You like to see him come to a jump stop and then look to attack.
Back into the ball game, Josh Montgomery handled the inbound. 26-9. 8:25 left, first half. Montgomery with a basketball guarded by Young. Switch up with Fenner. And Wilson pass along the baseline to Montgomery. That's blocked by Young. Robinson on the run out. No look pass to Young. There's a battle for the loose ball. Robinson comes away with it. Coming up at halftime, we'll hear from three of the former Big East coaches now heading to the ACC. Mike Bray of Notre Dame, Jim Boeheim of Syracuse, and Jamie Dixon of Pittsburgh. Timeout on the floor. Pitt up big. James Robinson with a big three early on to help the Pittsburgh Panthers to 26 points. It's only 6-9. Pitt leading Savannah State. 7:48 remaining in the first half with Marcus Bowman. I'm Tim Never. Glad you're watching college basketball with us tonight on ESPN as Pitt begins their first season in the ACC. Let's take a look at the stat track. 3 for 16 from the field for Savannah State. 11 out of 21 for Pitt. Rebounds heavily in favor of the Panthers. Turnovers fairly even. 5 for the Tigers and 4 for the Panthers. And sitting courtside tonight is Jim Dixon, the father of Pittsburgh coach Jamie Dixon. Jim is here from North Hollywood, California. Jim made a living in some 40 major motion pictures as an actor. Gets a chance to sit directly across from his son Jamie tonight. Watch him coach. Oh, the alley-oop to Giles Smith doesn't connect. Robinson back the other way. And a whistle. Offensive foul called on Derek Randall. Off the ball, the foul on Randall.
Yeah, it looks like they got him maybe for a moving screen. I'm not quite sure if I saw that there, but I think the referee didn't think that his feet were set. They got to do a better job. And once again, we talked about that earlier. You know, the guards also got to wait for the big man to get his feet set. Don't put him in a position to pick up a ticky-tacky foul.
Giles Smith trying to get to the basket. And Patterson had it roll off his foot right into the hands of the waiting Robinson. Cam Wright on the left wing. One thing Savannah State faces is the fact, again, they did have one returning starter. 7 new players this year. How tough is it, especially when you have JUCO transfers coming in, because oftentimes junior college transfers, as Wright knocks down the basket, take a little time to adjust, but as a team, it's probably going to take Horace Brodnack's club a little while to gel.
Yeah, and it doesn't help when you start on the road at a powerhouse ACC team like the Panthers. And you know, this is a team that will get better in Savannah State as the year goes along. You know, they have a great coach. He has a good pedigree, and it will take a little bit of time for these guys to gel. But I think once they get into conference play, you'll see a completely different team.
Wilson had the miss for the Tigers. And Robinson trying to get a screen from Young. Gets it. Finds Wright. Right, the lob for Young. Michael Young backing in. And Young, the baby hook, and a foul is going to be called underneath on Giles Smith, a senior from Fairburn, Georgia. Smith is one of the captains of this Tigers team. And this will put Young to the line. Both teams in the bonus for the remainder of the first half. Just under 6 minutes to go. 5:59 on the game clock.
That's a nice job right there by Mike Young, getting position and holding his body strong, having wide hands, asking for the ball, and going up strong. You know, that's tough for a freshman to make that transition from high school to play on the block. It's a much more physical game at this level. But it's very nice to see early on from this young man.
Oh, Young is a local, too, from Duquesne, PA. Did not play his high school basketball in the area, however. He did that in New Jersey at St. Benedict's Prep, but now Young trying to follow in the footsteps of DeJuan Blair, who played right down the street at Shenley.
Yeah, he was a pretty good player here at Pitt, now playing for the Dallas Mavericks and providing something for them.
Newkirk to Robinson. And that's a salvage basket there for Pittsburgh.
I don't know if that's quite how Cameron Wright drew it up when he threw that long pass, but a nice job right there by Josh Newkirk staying with it, and even better by James Robinson making sure that he was following the play.
Fenner had it blocked from behind, and Young another rebound. Young showing tonight he wants to be a force on the boards. Patterson trying to find a hole in the lane, dumps it off for Young for 2.
That's just a great play by Lamar Patterson right there. You know, he's playing at the power forward position in this lineup, and he's going to have a matchup problem for the other guy on the defensive end, and he just did a good job of taking him off the dribble, drawing the defender, and kicking it to Mike Young for an easy layup.
Blocking foul is called on Patterson. That's his first foul. Team's 10th, so that'll put Savannah State in the double bonus. 2 shots the rest of the way, and going to the line will be Devin Williams. Well, we've seen a charge, we've seen a block. You're going to see that in a college basketball game. It's just how difficult it is for the officials to call.
Yeah, and I think I understand what the officials are trying to do in the game. They're trying to clean it up a little bit, trying to give the offensive players a little more freedom. But you know, sometimes you have a tendency to get a little too over anxious, you know, and a little zealous in calling some of these ticky-tacky fouls. You gotta let the guys play a little bit as well.
So here is Williams' shot. and that is good. 34-11. Cam Wright will put the ball in play. A discussion among the officials briefly. The points recently for Savannah State have been coming from the free throw line. They're 3 for 19 from the field. And they've had 6 straight misses down the floor. And Pitt has been cleaning up the boards, leading in the points in the paint category right now, 24-2.
Yeah, and anytime that you go 3 from 19 on the road at a team that clearly has superior talent than you, it is going to be very difficult to win.
Young finds Patterson, launches a 3. Young finds the rebound. Young on his way to a double-digit rebound night. Coming down to the 4-minute mark in the first half. Cam Wright out of Cleveland. And Patterson throws it up, a whistle. And the foul's going to be called on Patterson, offensive foul. A charge on Patterson. That's his second personal foul. Timeout on the floor. Just under 4 minutes to go in the first half of play from the Peterson Events Center. Pittsburgh with a commanding 34-11 lead in the early going. Pitt in the season opener in Pittsburgh tonight. 3:57 to go in the first half. And Lamar Patterson, the fifth-year senior, helping out the true freshman Michael Young in his debut.
Yeah, Lamar Patterson doing a good job of drawing the defender, and Michael Young making himself available. And all you have to do in those positions is just catch the ball strong and finish over the contact.
Patterson making his 67th straight start at small forward, and Young his first collegiate start tonight. Doesn't seem like the speed of the game has affected him. Oftentimes true freshmen in their first game will really get a taste of the speed difference between the high school game and the Division I college game, but it doesn't seem to be affecting him.
Yeah, he's done a nice job of adjusting to this game early on, and you know, he's going to have to adjust. The Panthers are going to need a lot out of him on both ends of the floor for them to be successful this year.
Underneath, Davis in the corner. He spins and travel.
Yeah, I think he might have took 1 or 2 more steps than you normally get, but nice job by James Robinson of stepping up over there and being ready for help defense, forcing him into that travel.
Angelo Davis turned it over. He's trying to guard James Robinson, who flies by him. And then a pushing foul is called. Robinson draws it. And that'll be whistled against Hakeem Champagne, his first. Champagne, 6'9" senior. 6'9" junior, beg your pardon, is Champagne. He'll head over to the bench. Horace Broadnax will give him a rest. Robinson has done a lot of good work internationally as a youngster. He has gold medals in world championships and under 19 action around the world. In fact, he's the first Pitt player ever to be a two-time international gold medal winner.
Yeah, you know, this is just a guy, he's just a winner. He's won everywhere he's been. He's the ultimate teammate. He's a great floor general leader. He's a good athlete, and you know, people don't understand the importance of how it is to have just a guy out there that just understands the game as much as James Robinson does.
Patrick Henley, a senior, lost the ball off of his leg, and it'll go back to Pittsburgh. Henley, a guy that Broadnax said he would probably go to at some point. He is a senior. He didn't get a lot of playing time last year, but because of his experience and the fact that he's been around, understands the system, he will get more playing time this year.
And I know this is easier said than done, but if you're Savannah State, you really have to try to calm down and slow yourselves down. I think they're out here moving a little too fast for themselves, and that's why they're putting themselves against some turnovers early in the game. And as you see, Josh Newkirk, another freshman, step up and make a three-point shot off of a nice pass by Cameron Wright.
Ball knocked out of bounds. Young got a piece of it. Savannah State will maintain possession. Josh Newkirk. I want to talk about modern times, Marcus. Newkirk was the first Pitt player to announce his intention to head to Pitt on Twitter. He didn't talk to the media first. He just picked up his smartphone and announced to the world on Twitter that he was coming to Pitt.
The game has changed. You know, these young guys, that's how they communicate these days. Do you tweet there, Tim?
Yes, I do.
All right.
Shot from the right corner, way long, taken by Jeremiah Hill. Monte Fenner back down to the other side of the floor is James Robinson. Ready to get the inbound from Cam Wright. 2.5 minutes to go in the first half. See a little bit more of Cam Wright coming up at halftime. He made some national news this week, or at least was in the spotlight for a brief moment. Something that he did earlier this week, and we'll show it to you.
A little pressure right there by Savannah State. Went into a zone, a 2-3 zone, and looked to trap the guy as soon as he crossed the half court. Confused the Panthers a little bit, almost cost him into a turnover.
Newkirk looking to release the basketball, finds Young on the low block. He's doubled. Good pass, but taken away. He got it through, but did not reach its intended target. Josh Newkirk. Darrell Richards against Cam Wright. Now Montgomery lets one go. A little short. And the shooting percentage certainly for Savannah State cannot please its head coach here in the first half of this ball game.
Yeah, and as we talked about, it's very difficult to win on the road as it is, but you have to shoot a high percentage or take care of the basketball, and Savannah State hasn't done neither of those things.
There's a strip and a steal, and the Panthers will have the basketball back. 1:28 to go.
I think Jamie Dixon is telling his team right now to calm down. You know, in these type of games, what you don't want to do is you don't want to create bad habits as you get up by a lot of points. You want to make sure that you're still doing the things that your coach should do, running your offense, playing clean basketball.
Foul whistle down below on Sadiq Muhammad. That's his second. And the 9th team foul, so one away from the double bonus. And Jamie Dixon sitting down now. I see Barry Rorson next to him back at Pitt. Barry had spent a number of seasons as an assistant here before taking off and being a head coach. He was head coach at Manhattan. And now back here as an assistant. Coming up at halftime, a look at the incoming ACC coaches. Mike Bray of Notre Dame, Jim Boeheim of Syracuse, and Jamie Dixon, plus Pittsburgh's trick shooter. We'll have stats and highlights also. That's coming up at the half. Pitt will call a timeout with 1:12 to go in the half as Jamie will talk this one over. And at this time of the game, when you're in the first half, you've got 40 points on the board. What are you looking to do? What is Jamie talking to these guys about at this point in time? You've been in these huddles. What's he talking about?
Well, obviously he's very pleased with what his team has done defensively. Anytime you can hold a team to 11 points with a minute to go in the half, that's a successful defensive effort. I think right now what he's doing, he's telling him, let's keep doing what we're doing. Let's not create bad habits. Let's win this last minute, go into halftime, make some further adjustments, and just keep playing and keeping our foot on the pedal here.
Jamie Dixon very focused, certainly on his job. He borders on tunnel vision when it comes to basketball.
He is a basketball mind. You know, when the basketball season comes around, he is fully ingrained and entrenched in basketball.
Delonte Fenner dribbling toward the baseline, cut off. And now with the basketball is Hakeem Champagne. And for Champagne, it's just his third year ever playing basketball. He's a junior in college. He never played basketball till he got to college, but that body of his at 6'9" and 216, he's built like a basketball player. So he's getting an opportunity to learn on the job.
Yeah, he definitely has the look. He has the size and the athletic ability, and that's pretty impressive for a guy to be in his third year playing basketball and playing at this high of a level.
Down on the floor, being picked up, Joshua Montgomery. And a foul called on Pitt. Well, Robinson whistled. And now walk-on transfer. Matt Lesak will come into the ball game, much to the not surprise, but enjoyment of the student section.
I remember those days, getting in the game, late in the game in the student section and everybody going crazy. Nice to see him get an opportunity to play here early.
And Mike Lesak into the game for Pitt. And the rebound by Young. That's his 7th rebound in the first half. 15 seconds to go. Shot clock is dead. Every time Lesak will touch the ball, the fans want him to shoot. But Pitt trying to run down the clock. And a traveling violation whistled against Cam Wright. And Savannah State can take the last shot of the half if they want to.
Yeah, and those are the turnovers right there that really upsets Jamie Dixon. You know, you have an opportunity to take the last shot and just moving a little too fast. That's an unforced turnover. No coach likes those.
That's going to be good. Nice basket with the left hand by Kara Richards. That takes care of things for the first half of play, where Pitt comes away with an impressive 40-13 start after the first 20 minutes of action. The lid lifter for Pitt as members of the ACC going pretty well. Coming up at the half, we'll meet some of the incoming coaches, formerly of the Big East. 40-11, Pitt in front at the break. And we welcome you back to the Peterson Event Center. We're at the half, the season opener for Pitt and Savannah State. And on the 1st of July, the ACC officially welcomed in not only Syracuse and Notre Dame, but Pitt to join the ACC in their 61st season. Jeff Fischel got a chance to meet with Notre Dame coach Mike Brey, Jamie Dixon, and Syracuse coach Jim Boeheim.
Jeff Fischel, host of the ACC Digital Network, with the 3 new coaches in the ACC, Mike Brey, Jamie Dixon, and Jim Boeheim. Can you guys believe you're holding mics that say ACC on them? Mike.
Yeah, that's, I guess reality has set in. You know, we're all in this thing together, and but we're excited about it. I know I'm really excited. Our fans are.
Jamie, what's the take at Pitt moving to the ACC?
I think when I went down to the football game, we played Duke, and that was kind of when I realized, okay, we're finally in the ACC. We've been talking for a long time, all the talk before it happened, then it actually happened 2 years in between. But going down there, seeing that first game, it kind of felt like it was.
Is there an arena, Jamie, that perhaps your guys really want to play at that they haven't gotten a chance to do? Now they'll be in the ACC.
I haven't spent a lot of time asking them that. I mean, they're excited. They're looking forward to our first game and just getting ready. But I mean, I don't think there's one. We've played in great places in the Big East, and you know, I mean, it's all the same once you get on the floor. That's how we think. That's how we play.
And Jim, I know you've avoided as much as possible going against Mike. Now there's no choice.
No choice. You know, we've sat on the bench 100 times for USA basketball next to each other, so it's going to be a little strange coaching against Mike. But you know, I look at the players. You kind of really. I don't worry about his game. I worry about his players, and Duke's going to have great players, and it'll be a great challenge.
Jim, Jamie, Mike, thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Jeff Fischel with Mike Brey, Jamie Dixon, and Jim Boeheim. When we come back, we'll introduce you to Pitt's new trick shot artist. That's next at the half. Back in Pittsburgh, still at the half, Savannah State and the Pitt Panthers. Earlier this week, one of the Pitt Panthers made some national news when he was featured with the play of the day on Sports Center, encouraging the Oakland Zoo, the student section, to come out to tonight's game.
What's up, Zoo? Come out this Friday and support your Panthers against Savannah State and show everybody why you're the best student section in the world.
Cameron Wright, certainly that is not easy to do with your back to the basket, sitting in a chair from half court. How tough is this shot to make?
That's unbelievable. I'm surprised that he made that shot, but look how comfortable he looked taking that. Just like a flick of the wrist there. Very impressive.
Well, we understand one of his teammates, Lamar Patterson, had also attempted it. He was unsuccessful, but Cam Wright came in and knocked this one down. And this one was featured on SportsCenter earlier this week. So Cam Wright, Lamar Patterson, and the rest of the Panthers getting set for second half action. We'll have the stats and highlights when we come back after this quick timeout. (40-13), Pittsburgh with the lead over Savannah State. Opening game for both teams. And we're at the half at the Peterson Event Center on the campus of the University of Pittsburgh with Marcus Bowman. I'm Tim Neverett. It is the point total allowed by Savannah State. The 13 points is the third fewest ever allowed by Pittsburgh in a half of basketball. So that's saying something for their defensive effort here tonight. But offensively, certainly getting it done. Cam Wright making his debut as a starter here this season in the opener. He's got 8 points to start this game.
Yeah, Cam Wright has done a nice job. And one of the things that I've liked about his game in this first half is he's found the open areas. He's cutting, he's slashing, he's playing off of other people. And that's how this young man is going to get his points. And then at times he does what he needs to do and takes it on his own. He's done a really nice job of just cutting and finding open spots.
And speaking of debuts, how about Michael Young, the true freshman from Duquesne, PA, right down the street. He has 7 rebounds. He's been a force on the board so far.
He has been, and it was big for him to make sure that he came up in this game and he rebounded the basketball very well with Talib Zana being out. And that's nice to see from a freshman. Here you see him stepping up on the defensive end, getting the block. But, you know, anytime you have a freshman that can make the transition to playing at this level and playing on the post, that's a welcome sign.
Yeah, I think it's a welcome sign for Jamie Dixon to have Michael Young playing as well as he is in his debut, and only good things ahead for Michael Young. Let's take a look at the first half statistics. The numbers heavily favoring the Pitt Panthers.
Yeah, and the first number that you look at, obviously, those field goals. It is very difficult to win anywhere, particularly on the road when you only shoot 4 for 23, and then three-point field goals haven't been any better. Both teams have shot free throws well, and Jamie Dixon loves seeing that double on the rebounding margin.
Yeah, the points in the paint, too, 24-4. Pitt dominating the offensive glass. We'll see what happens here in the second half. Savannah State trying to up their offense when we come back. It's 40-13. Pitt leading the Tigers. You're watching the ACC on ESPN. And from the Peterson Events Center in Pittsburgh, the Pitt Panthers with a 40-13 lead over Savannah State as we get set to start the second half with former Pitt Panther Marcus Bowman. I'm Tim Never. Glad you're along watching college basketball with us tonight. As far as Pitt is concerned, obviously anytime a coach goes through a half of basketball, no matter what the result is, they always find things that need improvement. And this is just game one, the first half of game one. But what are some of the things you think Jamie Dixon might have a concern about?
Well, one of the things he likes to do, he always likes his team to be under 12 turnovers in a game. And the Panthers had 9 turnovers in the first half and only had 10 assists. He likes to see that margin to be a little more closer to 2-1. But I think one of the things that they're going to have to continue to adjust and make sure that they're being cautious and aware of is how these referees are calling the games. You know, they had a lot of fouls, 12 personal fouls in that first half. And actually some of those were, you know, committed to the turnovers. They had a couple offensive fouls and some movement screens. So that's something that he probably talked about at halftime.
And you'd think that, you know, the way that games are officiated, regardless of the game, players have to adjust during the course of the game, don't they?
Absolutely. And, you know, anytime, you know, you get deep into March, you see different officials that you haven't seen all year, and they may call the game a little bit different. So as a basketball player, you just have to adjust to how the game is being called and don't let it bother you.
And Michael Young with a block. He came out to defend Terrell Hall, got a piece of him with the hip. So that'll be the second foul on Young. And the first team foul of the second half for Pitt. Young comes out to defend him again. This time he missed him with a hip. And another whistle. Foul off the ball. Offensive foul as Josh Montgomery used the arm.
And we have 2 fouls in 20 seconds already. So it looks like the referees are going to stay consistent on how they're calling this basketball game. And, you know, if I'm an offensive player, anytime a post guy jumps out at one of those screens, I'm just going to attack their leg and maybe do a little bit of an acting job and see if I can get a foul called.
Lamar Patterson. No look pass right across the lane to Robinson. A push foul is called on Terrell Hall. That'll be his third. One thing, if you're Horace Broadnax, you don't want your team to start getting foul trouble. And Hall will take a seat with 3. And when you're behind the way that Savannah State is, what can you do as a team? Other than obviously you keep playing, but what are the things you try to work on?
Well, you have to take it one possession at a time. You're not going to get 27 points back all at once. So it starts on the defensive end. You know, they got to stop fouling. They got to just get one stop at a time and then take care of the basketball when they get on the offensive end and give them a shot at actually making a shot.
Patterson with the basketball, guarded by Devin Williams. Now coming out to play him, Giles Smith inside Randall. And Randall is fouled along the baseline. This will be Josh Montgomery again. For Montgomery, his third foul.
And that is not the way you're going to get back into the basketball game, by having guys, and here you see him just kind of ride him with the body there as Derek Randall went up for the shot. You got to stay away from fouling and move your feet and play solid defense.
Oh, Randall missing the first of 2 free throws. Randall played at Rutgers 2011 to 2013. Transferred, was eligible right away. Teammates call him D-Mac.
And he's done a nice job tonight on both ends of the floor, rebounding the ball as well as finishing around the rim.
Montgomery with a jumper off the back rim. And a quick outlet by Robinson, and Rulis put it down. A terrific block by Montgomery.
Wow, really nice block there by Montgomery, not giving up on that play. I think he surprised Cameron right there. Very nice play of getting down there defensively.
Underneath, it's Giles Smith for 2. That all started with the defensive play by Joshua Montgomery. What a block. And Montgomery is one of those guys that Horace Broadnax considers a stretch 4 guy. He's undersized for his position, so he's a stretch at a 4.
Yeah, he's a lefty and an athletic guy, and one of the guys that this Pitt Panthers team really talked about before. And here you see right here a nice outlet pass from James Robinson, not giving up on the play and coming up with a really big block.
Patterson fouled by Devin Williams. Lamar at the line. Cam Wright, probably the most surprised guy in the building a moment ago. (43-15). Savannah State trying to get up some shots. Hill launches. He's got it. That's a 2-pointer. Foot on the line.
Nice job right there by Hill. And here you see Savannah State making a couple buckets here. Sometimes it's those defensive efforts. And I think we have an over and back there. Not quite sure about that call. I thought you always had an opportunity to go back in the backcourt, but nonetheless, another turnover by the Panthers.
Montgomery had it swatted away. Now here's Kiera Richards to the basket. Kiera Richards for 2. Richards, a good defender, turned that into some offense. Pretty smart kid, too. Last year he was on the all-academic team in the MEAC conference.
6 quick points right here by Savannah State. And once again, it all started on the defensive end with that block, and that's what you have to do. You have to take it one stop at a time. See if the Panthers answer.
Randall goes down to the floor with Montgomery, and here come the Tigers. Jump shot taken by Hill, and this time it's Young. And Young rips down his 8th rebound of the ball game. Again, headed for double figures in rebounds at his first game as a college player.
I wouldn't be surprised to see Jamie Dixon call a set play here. His team has been a little erratic on the last couple offensive possessions. Try to get an easy bucket in.
Randall getting the rebound off the Robinson miss, and a foul is called, and Randall will be going to the line. So Montgomery picks up his 4th foul, and he'll come out. Sadiq Muhammad waiting to check in. He'll come in after this free throw by Randall.
Panthers doing a nice job of staying on the glass and staying with every play. Derek Randall giving himself an opportunity right here to go to the free throw line.
While we have a moment, we send our best wishes out to Dick Grote, who does color commentary on radio for Pittsburgh, former Pittsburgh Pirate, St. Louis Cardinal, and Duke Blue Devil.
Yeah, he is a legend in
Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh.
With pneumonia.
Yeah, he's a legend in Pittsburgh sports, and we wish him the best and wish him a speedy recovery.
Well, the good news is I hear he won the bout, so he'll be.
He's a tough guy.
He'll be back at his post very shortly. So a timeout. Savannah State. They'll take it with them. 44-19. Pittsburgh in front. Good look outside the Peterson Event Center in Pittsburgh. The Panthers have a 44-19 lead over Savannah State.
Yeah, and the Peterson Event Center, we're in this beautiful arena, and all thanks to a great young man, John Peterson, who was watching the game down in Florida, and we wish him all the best, and I want to thank him for his generous donation for this beautiful building.
Well, the Panthers and Tigers back out on the floor. Jamie Dixon looking for win number 1 of this season. Savannah State on the inbound. Sadiq Muhammad. Muhammad hanging in the lane, scores. Sadiq Muhammad with a basket. You look at what Savannah State did in the first half, Marcus. 4 for 23 from the field. So far in the second half, 4 for 6.
Yeah, that's the winning margin for basketball. Much better looking second half than they did in the first half. And you got to be pleased if your coach Von Dyke and really doing a better job here in the second half of coming back.
Robinson fouled on the way through the lane. And fouling him was Jeremiah Hill. That's his first foul. So Jeremiah Hill, a freshman from Richmond Hill, Georgia.
And on the other end, if you're Jamie Dixon, you really want to talk to your team about not getting sloppy and continue to do what we were doing in the first half that got us this lead. Taking high percentage shots and rebounding the ball.
Jamel Artis a little anxious to put one back up after the rebound. All back in possession of Savannah State. Richards a miss. Lamar Patterson going the other way for Pittsburgh. Patterson and a takeaway by Savannah State. Tried to force it through 2 defenders, and Muhammad came up with a loose ball. And it's Giles Smith. On the pick and roll, he's open on the right wing, but can't get the shot off. Now he'll force one up there, well wide of the net. Muhammad, the baby hook, that's in.
Nice job right there by Muhammad of staying with the play and fighting on the glass. And you know, this is typical of a Savannah State team. They're a tough, scrappy team. They're not going to come in here and just lay over for the Panthers, even though they had a tough first half. Really nice to see them come out in the second half and play with a lot more fighting energy.
Young stepping into the paint, kicks it out to right. Patterson gets the screen from Artis. And wide open is Young. Somehow Lamar Patterson found the hole between 2 defenders and threaded the needle, and Young finished it up.
I'm not quite sure how he even got that pass through, but what a beautiful pass by Lamar Patterson, and Mike Young just being ready on the other end.
The foul will be whistled on James Robinson, his second. Timeout. Pitt up 46-23. We're in the second half. 46-23, Pittsburgh leading Savannah State in the opener for the 2013-2014 season. Savannah State came out of the gates in the second half, getting some things done. All started with that block by Joshua Montgomery.
Yeah, and they did a nice job. It started on the defensive end, getting one stop at a time, and then all of a sudden they calmed themselves down a little bit offensively, took their time, and you've seen them go on a little run here, and you can see a nice job by Muhammad of getting deep into the paint and scoring on a nice turnaround jumper.
Well, Horace Broadnax, in his 9th season at the helm of the Tigers, came from Bethune-Cookman and got his law degree at Florida State after getting a finance degree at Georgetown, point guard on the national championship team in '84. He was a star for John Thompson's Hoyas, and talked to him about the influence that Coach Thompson had on him, and he said he really learned about detail and preparation, and then about carrying that out onto the game floor. A pretty good reference to have, John Thompson.
Yeah, he comes from a great pedigree, that's for sure. John Thompson, one of the greatest coaches of all time in college basketball, and basketball really on any level. Anytime you get to learn from a legend like that, you're going to be in good position. And you've seen this team here in the second half pay a lot more attention to detail on the defensive end, which has allowed them to do well offensively.
Well, Deron Johnson at the free throw line. I expect to see more this season of him launching from behind the arc. He expects to be a sniper from the outside.
Yeah, he's going to be a critical part, a critical piece for this Panthers team, particularly on the offensive end. He's a guy that can really fill it up very quickly and can go on a run all by himself.
Patterson with the loose ball, and his pass taken by Giles Smith of Savannah State. Smith filled that lane, and the ball ended up right in his hands. Now Hill off the screen. And now Patterson again with a basketball for Pittsburgh. Pitt will play again Tuesday against Fresno State. Bulldogs will be in here. Meantime, the next game for Savannah State is tomorrow against Robert Morris, also in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, and this Panthers team, they'll have some things that they'll want to work on before they get prepared for that game against Fresno State on Tuesday. That obviously will be a better team. They'll be prepared and have some good players, and they won't be afraid to come in here and challenge this Panthers team.
Fouls on Sadiq Muhammad, his third. And Muhammad will remain in the ball game. Coming out will be Giles Smith, and going in, Hakeem Champagne. Lamar Patterson at the line. 8 team fouls already for Savannah State. So Pitt in the bonus for the rest of the ball game. Just 2 fouls for Pittsburgh as a team so far.
Yeah, and if that's the one thing that coach is going to put an emphasis on the Savannah State sidelines, is that while we've done a good job of getting back in this game, we're still fouling too much. We're playing with our hands too much. Got to do a better job of keeping guys in front of us, not getting beat off the drive.
And the basket made by Alante Fenner. A true freshman from Lake Wales, Florida. We'll get a look tonight. Coaches want to see what he can do in game action. Very young team, a transitional type of team this year for Savannah State. Foul underneath as Cam Wright hits the deck. Raheem Sadiq. Sadiq Muhammad, beg your pardon. Hakeem Champagne, a correction on that. That's 2 on him. Cam Wright with another. Showed you at halftime the shot that Cam Wright took from a chair with his back facing the basket at half court. That made Sports Center. You want to make Sports Center do something like that.
Yeah, you don't get too many opportunities to take shots like that. They definitely don't happen in the game, to say the least.
Champagne at the high post for Muhammad. Artis on the rebound for Pitt. Up ahead to Newkirk. Now Wright. Wide open shot for Artis. Missed the 3. Rebound Randall. And he got the roll. Derek Randall with a basket. Miss on the three and a foul. Hill was taking the three. Wright commits the foul. Cam Wright, that's his second.
A nice job right there by Savannah State to push the ball up and get an early shot in the shot clock. And here you see Derek Randall staying tough on the offensive rebounding in and putting it back in through the contact.
Randall in double figures with 10 points. Hill adds to his total. He's got 3. Jeremiah Hill playing in his first college game. This is the biggest crowd perhaps that he has ever played in front of, according to his head coach. And into the ball game, Javaris Jenkins, another freshman from Deerfield Beach, Florida. The freshman Hill knocks it down. Makes it a 52-27 game with 12:35 left in it. Johnson out to Wright. Johnson driving the baseline, kicks it out. Newkirk to Wright. Wright with some room. He is hammered as he goes to the basket. And Cam Wright will go to the line to shoot 2. It was clotheslined here by Hill and Champagne.
Yeah, very hard foul right there. As Cameron Wright went driving to the lane. Those are the type of plays that they're happy when a young man is able to get up, even though he takes some of that hard contact as he steps to the line and makes his first shot. Cameron Wright is one of those guys. He's really going to have to provide this team with outstanding defense on that end of the floor, taking that pride and really stopping the best guard on the other team. But he's also going to be able to provide them a scoring punch as well, as we've seen tonight.
And Alante Fenner with a basket. Fenner with a good-looking shot near the right baseline. 53-29. Right up to Deron Johnson, and Fenner picks him up. Now Newkirk driving. And underneath, Artis is undercut. That's always a scary play when you see that. And it was Terrell Hall, the Savannah State Tiger, who got underneath Jamel Artis.
Yeah, and anytime, as you mentioned, you see a play like that, you hold your breath to make sure that the young man is okay. Nice to see him get up there, and he'll have an opportunity at the line for 2.
So Savannah State will talk this over, so will Pitt. Timeout here at the Peterson Event Center. Well, earlier today, an 11 o'clock start here at the Peterson Event Center. The Pitt women got their season underway with a 66-51 win over Bucknell. They're now 1-0 with their new coach, Susie McConnell-Serio. Comes over from Duquesne, and here at Pitt is 1-0. And a very large crowd came out to see that matinee game today.
Yeah, it was the Panthers' annual school day where they invited a lot of the local schools around the city of Pittsburgh and surrounding areas to come and watch the Pitt women's basketball team. And Coach Susan McConnell-Serio, she's just been somebody who has won every level that she's been on. She won as a player, both in college at Penn State, professionally. She won an Olympic gold medal. She's been a very successful coach on the professional end, and now collegiately, she plans to bring that success to the Pitt Panthers.
Jamel Artis at the free throw line for Pitt. He was a late signee. He didn't commit till mid-April. Come here. But he knows Michael Young very well. They were roommates at St. Benedict's Prep in New Jersey.
Yeah, always nice to go play with your buddy in college if you have that opportunity. And those guys they're going to be playing together a lot over these next couple years in these Pitt Panther uniforms. It's good to have that chemistry on and off the court.
Fenner, entry pass to Champagne, and a foul is called as Savannah State's Champagne was hand checked by Derek Randall. That'll be the third on Randall. He will head to the bench, and Michael Young comes back in. Well, if Artis and Young were roommates at St. Benedict's, how good was that team? And that basket drops. Well, they were pretty good. The answer is they were number 2 nationally at 32-2.
I would say that's a pretty good high school team. Anytime you've got a couple guys that can play at the Division I level, you're going to be very successful, particularly when there are 2 big guys like that. Ron Johnson got to do a better job with that pass to the post.
Champagne couldn't finish. Newkirk flips it to Artis, back to Newkirk. Spots up for 3. He's got it.
Nice job right there by Jamil Artis, drawing the defense and passing it right back to Josh Newkirk, who stepped up and made the shot. He's a guy that's really improved his outside jump shot since he's been here on the Pitt campus.
That ball kicked out of bounds, and Savannah State will maintain control. And Newkirk got it right back from Artis, and all day to take that shot. How nice is it when you have that kind of time to make that shot?
It makes it a lot easier, that's for sure, anytime. And he won't see that too often as he gets into late in the non-conference season play and into the Atlantic Coast Conference. They don't usually give you that long to take wide open threes.
6 points for Newkirk, 2 for 2 from behind the arc.
You know, we talked about these freshmen for the Pitt Panthers team, and Newkirk, Artis, Young, who are all on the floor right now. You know, they're the future of this Pitt Panthers team, but the future is now. They're going to have to play a lot of minutes and provide a lot of productivity on both ends of the floor, offensively and defensively. So it's nice to see them come out here in their first regular season game with strong performances.
Oh, nice move by Alante Fenner. Fenner adds 2 more for Savannah State, 58-34. Fenner now with 7 points off the bench for the Tigers. Newkirk kicks it back to Johnson. He tries a 3. Rebound by Artis, and Artis is going to be fouled by Javaris Jenkins. First foul on Jenkins. Savannah State trying to make a ball game out of this with a little bit more than half of the second half remaining.
Yeah, if you're Coach Broadnack, you got to be very pleased with how your team has come out and really fought here in this second half. And on the other end, if you're Coach Jamie Dixon, there'll be some teachable moments from this second half that he'll be able to show his team on film, and some correctable things as they get ready for next week's game versus Fresno State.
Well, Horace Broadnack's 9 seasons now with Savannah State. Over from Bethune-Cookman. They're searching for their 3rd straight winning season. 19 and 15 rather last year. Savannah State has only been a Division I school since 1999. And 2002 was their first year as an NCAA Division I school. From the corner, missed by Jenkins. Ball out of bounds and back to Pitt. If you think about the number of close games that Savannah State played last year that they lost by 3 points or fewer, there's 8 of those. And let's just say you win half of those. Now you're looking at a 23-win season, and the distance between a 23-win season and a 19-win season is huge.
It definitely is. And
Newkirk 3 for 3 from behind the arc. 9 points for Josh Newkirk.
this young man has a really nice stroke as he shoots the basketball, keeps his elbow in, and has a very nice rotation, and a nice answer right there by Hill on the other end.
Jeremiah Hill with a 3 of his own, and it's 63-37. So Newkirk getting the kick out pass from Cam Wright, and again wide open, lots of time to take that shot. So Newkirk out of Raleigh, North Carolina, right in the backyard of NC State. Jamie Dixon was able to get him out of there. And that's going to have to be a new recruiting area, these ACC regions. North Carolina is going to have to be a place I think you'll start seeing perhaps more Pitt players come from.
Absolutely, and the great thing about the Atlantic Coast Conference is that it stretches all the Atlantic Seaboard and the Eastern Seaboard from Miami all the way up to Boston. So really, the whole East Coast is becoming a recruiting area for everybody in the ACC. And then when you add teams like Notre Dame, it gives you a little bit of a Midwest feel. It opens up a lot of various areas for this Pitt Panthers team to recruit in.
Don't forget, next year another edition of Louisville will join the ACC.
How about that?
You add Rick Pitino to the mix. Think about the coaching pedigree on the sideline every single night in the ACC.
Yeah, there are some heavy hitters in this conference and moving forward. And
Hill with the basketball. I think of the senior guy now is Jim Boeheim, 34 years with the same school at Syracuse. Mike Krzyzewski, 30 years at Duke. And the basket by Alante Fenner.
Nice job right there by Fenner. Cameron Wright's got to do a better job of keeping him in front of him, but you got to give a lot of credit to Fenner there, taking the ball hard to the hole, avoiding the contact from Derek Randall, and finishing in the paint.
Newkirk finds the cutter. On the curl, that's right. He missed, but Randall's there for the putback. 12 points for Derek Randall in his Pittsburgh debut. Fenner with 9 for Savannah State off the bench. Now Champaign launches one. That's nothing but net. 65-41. So it's been a much better second half for Savannah State than the first half.
Yeah, nice job right there by Champaign of knocking down the short-range jump shot. And got to give Savannah State a lot of credit here in this second half. They really came out and fought hard. And Josh Newkirk doing a good job of answering on the other end, but got to be very pleased with their energy. And they go right back here on the other end.
Randall another rebound. Newkirk with the basketball. He's in double figures with 11 points. Kick out to Johnson. That little help from the back part of the rim.
That's what you call the shooter's roll right there. Anytime you get that nice little roll into the basket off of the back of the rim, that must mean your rotation is good.
And that ball just died when it hit the iron and then rolled in.
Yeah, when I shoot the basketball, they die, but they don't roll in. They roll out. I don't know about you, Tim.
I got to get it to the iron.
Yes.
Whistle. And who's the foul on? It's going to be called on Derek Randall. Randall will head to the bench with his 4th personal foul. Pitt leading 70-41. 70-41. Pittsburgh leading Savannah State, and this lid lifter of the season. Take a look at stat track right now. 51% for Pittsburgh, out rebounding him. 18 rebound advantage there. 20 foul shots to 6. And Josh Newkirk, the newcomer from Raleigh, North Carolina, has been nails from behind the three-point line. He's 3 for 3. Also has a 2 to go with that for a game total of 11 points.
Yeah, and this young man has really beautiful stroke. You see his shot looks the same every time. Keeps that elbow in. Has a great rotation on the basketball when he shoots and releases at his high point. You know, he's a very welcome addition to this Panther team. You know, you've heard Jamie Dixon talk about that he may be the quickest guy that he's had here in his 11 years as the head coach at Pitt. And that's saying a lot for a team that's been successful as his.
Sadiq Mohammed is doubled back outside to Fenner. He tries a 3. Foul. Nope. Missed it. Thought I heard a whistle momentarily. Did not.
Well, that wouldn't have been new news, hearing another whistle in this game.
A loose ball underneath, fought for. It goes out of bounds. And Pitt will remain in possession of the ball off of Giles Smith. Well, again, you look at a guy like Newkirk, too, and as a freshman, can he shoot his way into a different role with this team as the season goes along?
I think you may be seeing that. I mean, he's obviously showing that he can shoot the ball from the outside. He may be.
Well, Patterson couldn't get the roll from the friendly rim, but the foul picked up by Giles Smith. That's his 3rd.
Yeah, he didn't get that same roll that Deron Johnson got a couple minutes ago. But talking about Josh Newkirk, you know, I think he's finding a role and a niche for himself. If he can step in and make that outside shot along with the quickness that he has, he'll have a lot of. They'll find time to get him a lot of minutes in basketball games.
Well, Lamar Patterson comes from a very athletic family. Had a brother played quarterback at Syracuse. Another brother played basketball at Kutztown. And here he is finishing up his career at Pittsburgh. Tipped away by Young and out of bounds. And you look at the balanced scoring here, Marcus. You got 4 Panthers in double figures. And they're bordering on the possibility of getting 7 players in double figures. Robinson's got 9 points, Wright with 8, Young with 7. And Young could be looking at a double-double.
And that's how this Pitt team is going to be successful this year, as you see. Williams knocked down a nice three-pointer, but they're going to have a balanced attack offensively. They have to get guys like Robinson, Patterson, Young, Johnson, and Newkirk to all step up and make shots.
There's Johnson. He's got a 3. And he's in double figures with 11.
And there's that guy, Deron Johnson. You know, he never seen a shot that he didn't like, but he is a guy that can heat up very fast and get it going from the outside.
Well, now 5 players in double figures for Pitt. There's Mohammed missing the shot. And Young almost got his 9th rebound. Patterson got a no look, and the ball was kicked. That'll stop play. Richards got a foot on it.
You know what? I don't know if Coach Jamie Dixon was all that happy with the no-look pass that Lamar Patterson tried. You know, and there you see his reaction right there. And that's something that we've talked about. You don't want to create bad habits in these type of games, late in games where you're in a blowout. You want to continue to do the things that's gotten you the lead. Just play clean, crisp basketball.
41-point advantage right now. This is the 2nd time these 2 schools have ever met. First time was in 2001, where Pitt beat Savannah State by 52, 87-35. It was the 4th largest margin of victory for Pitt in their program's history. Savannah State certainly not looking for a repeat of that. Oh! Robinson fouled underneath. And the foul will be on Sadiq Mohammed. His 4th personal foul.
Nice job by James Robinson getting all the way to the paint. One of the things that you've probably seen in this game is the Pitt offense. They like to run a lot of ball screens. You see a lot of sprint screens, and those are tough to defend. As a defense, you got to have a very athletic big man who can step out, make that guard go out wide. Even anytime they don't, it gives the guard an opportunity to turn the corner really quick and get to the lane and have to draw help defense. And it's up to that guard to make a good play on the offensive end to find others or to score for themselves.
Well, Robinson remains perfect from the free throw line. 6 for 6. Hall for Savannah State trying to get around Robinson. Artis slowed him down a bit. Williams fires one up in and out. Would have been good for 3 had it gone. Johnson to the basket. Jump stop in the lane, and he is hit hard by Giles Smith. That'll be the 4th foul on Smith if it's on him. Nope, they're calling that on Alante Fenner rather than Smith. 2nd personal foul on Fenner. Getting the double bonus the rest of the way. 5 minutes left in the game. As Pitt looks to go 181-22 all time in this building.
That is a very impressive record.
And also in this building, 101 wins, 3 losses against non-conference opponents.
That's another very impressive record.
Looking for win number 102. The home court advantage Pittsburgh has been incredible for them. And Williams holding on to the basketball. Guarded by Jones. Jones picks him up again, and reaching in to pick his pocket was Robinson.
And he's going to compound a turnover with a foul on the other end. Those are the type of things that drive coaches crazy.
And that'll result in shots for Robinson. 2nd foul on Devin Williams. Well, James Robinson, you know, you go into last year, you're handing over your offense to a freshman, a true freshman for Jamie Dixon. He had to have the utmost confidence in Robinson that he was going to pick it up quickly and do the job, and that he did. He was impressive right out of the gates.
Yeah, he had a great freshman year, and, you know, as we talked about, this guy's just a leader. He's a winner. You see it in him every day at practice when he's out there in the court. And that Pitt team last year had another senior point guard in Trey Woodall, you know, who had played a lot of games. And anytime you can have a young freshman step up like that and play alongside Trey Woodall, you know, it's a very welcoming sign for Jamie Dixon.
Well, also talking about welcome additions, he's got 33 points from newcomers tonight. 3 freshmen and a transfer have combined for 33 points, so that's big.
That is big. You get that many points out of newcomers, that is a welcome sign. And you know, I really think this Pitt team, they'll get better as the year goes along. This will be a completely different team that you'll see as they get into January, February, particularly when they get to leave Zion out there. And I think they have a very good shot at being successful in the Atlantic Coast Conference.
Giles Smith puts the ball on the floor, spinning around Young. He will score the basket, fouled by Young, so a possible 3-point play for Giles Smith.
Nice job right there by Giles Smith staying with that play. And this is that time of the game when the game is a little out of hand and might be losing, what guys are thinking, I'm going to try to get mine. Try to fill a couple stats here late in this game.
Well, Giles Smith at the free throw line. Angelo Davis has checked back in for Savannah State. 6 points for Smith, 5 rebounds. His first free throw. And he misses the possible conversion of the 3-point play. But Savannah State gets the basketball back. Not for long. Here's Young. And Michael with the hammer.
Woo! What a nice finish right there by Michael Young. How nice is that to have your big man be able to take it coast to coast like that, dribble the ball all the way down and finish with a 2-hand tomahawk slam.
First collegiate dunk for Michael Young. He's got 9 points. Williams to Fenner. Now Smith. Long range jumper no good. Johnson on the run out. He'll slow things up a bit, trying to find some help. Artist provides the help. Good save by Johnson on the floor. Just about 3 minutes remaining in the opener. And Pitt in command. Timeout after the foul. But how about Michael Young and his debut with an exclamation point? Now back at the Peterson Event Center, 82-46. Pittsburgh in control over Savannah State. When you look at what these young Panthers are able to do. Young gets his hand in there. How about this finish?
Now, how nice is that to see your big man go coast to coast like that and finish on a tomahawk two-hand slam? That is very impressive to get from a freshman.
Well, the newcomers tonight now after that dunk, 12 for 18. Talking about 3 freshmen and a transfer. 35 points from the youngsters and newcomers.
Yeah, and that's nice. That is a welcome sign and nice to see. You know, anytime you get any 3 players shooting the ball that well, it's great. But more or less when you're getting newcomers doing that, it's even more impressive.
Chris Jones at the line. Jones out of Teaneck, New Jersey, and Teaneck High School, a redshirt freshman. Sat out last year. Honor roll student in high school and second year in college, but first athletically in terms of eligibility. Enjoying some time tonight on the floor. 84-46. Under 3 minutes to go. All getting a screen briefly. Lobs it to the far side. Now it's Smith. Giles Smith with traffic. Shot clock is down to 8. And Hall, trouble on the perimeter. Artist got a hand in there. The shot got off the hands of Sadiq Muhammad. And a basket for Savannah State.
Nice job by Giles Smith to stand with the play. And eventually the ball fell in his hands.
Deron Johnson for 3. Not that time. Got a hand in there, and Pitt maintains possession. Artist off of Newkirk, but deflected by Savannah State's Terrell Hall. Pitt will have the basketball again with 2:05 to play. And off the bench, Mike Lesak, one of the walk-ons, waiting to check in. And 2 minutes to go.
This will be a nice opening victory for this Panthers team. They play really well. A lot of guys contributed. But at the same time, there was a stretch early in the second half that Jamie Dixon will really be able to go back to the film and show us guys and say, we need to be playing 40 minutes of complete basketball.
Lesak undercutting Hakeem Champagne. Lesak's second time coming in, and now Jamie Dixon has another walk-on coming in. Joshua Coe, who was the State Player of the Year in Hawaii last year and walked on here at Pitt.
What kind of awakening do you think he's going to be in for when he gets his first Pittsburgh winner?
Well, he has become a crowd favorite with the Oakland Zoo. The student section has adopted him as their favorite player, and during the exhibitions here at Peterson Event Center against University of San Diego and Slippery Rock, he got a huge ovation, bigger than any other player when he got in the game late.
Good for him.
Hakeem Champagne at the line. Knocks down the free throw. He'll get another. Champagne with 3 points. And he's 2 for 2 from the line. 4 points for Hakeem Champagne. Artis inbounds to Newkirk. Newkirk, quite a debut. 3 for 3 from three-point land. He got a 2-pointer for 11 points. There's a trap at half court, and he stepped on the line, and that's over and back. So the defense of Savannah State forcing the Pitt turnover.
And that's the one thing you don't want to do. You don't want to go across half court and pick up your dribble or not have an outlet to go. There's only one way to go from there. And unfortunately, that's back. So Josh Newkirk's going to learn that as a freshman. He won't make that mistake too many times.
Muhammad blocked at the basket. Quick pass to Coe. And Coe stopped and popped.
And this place is going to go electric. That might be the loudest I've heard this place since the first opening score that they had in that game. Very nice to see the young man get his first collegiate points on his first collegiate shot.
Well, his nickname is KO, and that was the knockout punch for Pitt over Savannah State with just under a minute to go. Let's take a look. A walk-on from Hawaii.
And he looked very comfortable out there knocking down that shot. You love to see the bench go crazy when the walk-ons get in the game and they get their opportunity to shine.
And Fenner's shot's good. Fenner in double figures off the bench in his first college game for Savannah State. Averaged 18 points a game at Lake Wales High School in his home state of Florida last year. And now 11 points for Fenner. Under a minute to go in this one. And then, well, Jamie Dixon trying to get out of the way of that pass. He knows he can't catch him anymore. He's not playing.
I thought his instincts might have kicked in there. He might have caught it and tried to shoot another half-court shot, but I guess not.
Lesak looking to inbound. Finds Artis. Jamel Artis is touched by Sadiq Muhammad. And that's going to be 5 on Muhammad. So he is fouled out. Artis waiting to shoot free throws. Tavares Jenkins has replaced Muhammad, who has gone to the bench.
You got to love that about Jamie Dixon. He is always coaching. No matter if it's 47 seconds left on the clock or if it's 20 minutes left in the first half, he's always doing a good job of coaching. You got to respect that about this guy. That's why he's been able to be so successful at the University of Pittsburgh over this first decade.
On the run, it's Hill. And Champagne can't get the tip. Artis the rebound. Just the 3-second differential, shot clock to game clock. Coe with the basketball. Lesak for 3. A little bit long. And now that one thrown out to Newkirk at half court. Crowd wants Lesak to shoot. Cole. Really had it stripped away. The rainbow is good.
The player of the game, Joshua Cole. He's helping that field goal percentage tonight. For the Pitt Panthers team, going 2 for 2.
And a 3 the other way by another freshman, Jeremiah Hill. 88-55, and that'll do it. As Pitt will go to 1-0 with an impressive victory in their opener over Savannah State. Jamie Dixon now 11-0 in opening games. Pitt is 181-22 all time at the Peterson Event Center. 88-55 the final score. Pittsburgh wins it. For Marcus Bowman and our entire crew here at the Peterson Event Center in Pittsburgh, I'm Tim Neverett. Thanks for watching ACC basketball on ESPN.